Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Next Up. I am excited because we got a dynamic guest tonight. None other than Ginell Rogers of the Rogers Signature Consulting Services. Ginell, welcome to the Next Up podcast.
Thank you for having me, Dr. E.
Yeah, we've been waiting for this for a moment now, and it has finally arrived.
I
Uh,
know, right?
I am telling you, Janelle she's a special person because I think we've been connected now for about over 25 years, right?
Yes,
Over,
it's been a while.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you were wow. I mean, just thinking back all of these years and the evolution. Welcome, Crystal. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey, Crystal.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to
All
see you
right.
too.
So I'm interviewing tonight, Crystal. Oh my God, Janelle, this is coming up in my mind. We used to call her the Kobe Bryant of our operations when she was with my wife and I at the Oasis of Hope Church. And I'll get into that more. But she is Janelle Rogers of Rogers Signature Consulting Services, former member of our church and financial director of our nonprofit. And as I just mentioned a few moments ago, she was so sharp in what she did in those days, even sharper now, to where, and she knows that I labeled all of my team members, particularly of the nonprofit, I had them basketball names, but she was the Kobe Bryant, meaning if anything could happen, Janelle would make it happen. The kind of confidence that we had. But Janelle, welcome once again, and we're glad to have you on the Next Up podcast. As tonight, we're going to talk about the evolution of next, the evolution of next. So let's get into it. When you first came and we first met there at the church, what life was like, and then
Oh my gosh.
I want you to get right over into, and we'll talk about some episodes in the leadership, how you
Ooh.
evolved in your next. So let's go back to where we got started, and then we'll talk about that evolution into the leadership.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for having me, Dr. E. Hello, Crystal. I'm excited to be on your podcast today. Oh gosh, you're taking me back, Dr. E,
Oh
about
my God.
I think I was in my early 20s or something when I
Yeah.
first came to Oasis. If you remember, I was managing that check into cash company.
Yes.
Remember checking
Uh-huh.
to cash that would give out payday loans to people?
Yes.
And I want to say I was in my early 20s. I think at the time, one of my managers, I think I was an assistant manager, one of my managers introduced me to come into the church. And they end up leaving, I think, if not too long after I
Okay.
joined. But anyway, but yeah, I came into Oasis. I was managing, I was a trainer or something like that of checking and cash. I was helping people understand how to budget their funds. And I was giving out money, but then I would train other individuals or other employees, I want to say across North Carolina, of how to make sure that their organization was profitable based
Hmm.
off of the monies that was given out and making sure people paid it back. And it was funny because I look at that now like, man, I'm still in that arena of helping people in finance and all of the things. But yeah, I started coming to Oasis just because of somebody introduced me to that, to the church. And I would have never expected any of the things that I'm doing now evolving from then.
So you didn't see some of now back yonder then because we were amazed that you were in that management role at such a young age. But you didn't see
Yes.
the stuff that you're into now. Did you see any of that back yonder then?
Nope. So if you remember, I had issues with trust. I was
Oh
going
yeah,
through some personal issues
got you.
when I was
Yeah.
20 and just learning people, understanding how to navigate the church world. I think I talked to you and Dr. J about not really trusting leadership in the church world. I had
Yeah.
some events happen and I remember a couple of times I would be like, I'm just going to call y'all doctors or pastors at the time because I was
Uh-huh.
just like, I don't know who you are. But no, none of what I am doing now, I would have never even dreamed. I didn't even put on paper. I think I was going to school at the time for my associates in my accounting degree. And it just so happened that working with you, working with Tracy in the financial area, and just volunteering, I think that's essentially how I got started. I was volunteering, helping Tracy do budgeting.
Yeah,
And then
you're
I
jumping
remember,
ahead because you're taking my thunder away. You're taking my thunder.
okay, I'm sorry, but yeah, that's what happened. I remember doing all of that.
Well, I remember when you first came, you were like, no, you were not going to let people get too close.
Mm-mm.
That was not going to happen. To see what happened to you in your next blew us out of the water. Because I'm like, wait a minute. And I've oftentimes mentioned like, what happened to the Ginell that we knew back in the then? You're a totally different person, you know.
Yes.
So let's move over into time went past and you ended up in the leadership. I think you share something that I want you to bring out to the people. Now, everybody, we're talking about the evolution of Next and how Janelle Rogers has evolved over the years in hopes that it'll give inspiration and motivation and hopes to those of you that are listening. But you found yourself in the leadership. Talk about that.
Mm. It depends on which one. So I found myself in the leadership with Success Dynamics, the nonprofit, volunteering.
Let's go to the
But
church
then
first.
Oasis, but with Oasis, I remember you actually saying, "Hey, come on back in our leadership meeting and we're going to pray together." And I was like, "Me? I don't need to be back here," but I came.
Uh-huh.
And I never forget the first thing you opened up before you prayed with the leaders was, we give you, and I'm paraphrasing now, but we
Sure.
give you so much word and encouragement and all these things. But if you're back here, then that means there comes a time you must have to give some type of encouragement to us. Pray, scripture, something. And I remember like, I don't know anything. And I remember going around the table and everybody was like, give out a scripture. And I was like, oh God, Jesus wept. That's all I could think of.
You said
But
Jesus
I
wept, that was it?
Jesus wept. That's all I can think of at the time because I was so nervous. I just felt so out of place. I want to say I don't remember at the time who else was a young adult back there, but I remember me being there. And I just remember that comment being so pierced in my heart that if my leader calls on me to do something, I need to be prepared. And at that particular time, I remember reading and studying and just being a sponge in church to learn as much as I could because I just didn't want to get caught off guard. And it was almost one of them things like if you didn't study and you got called out for a pop quiz, that was me. I just didn't want to do that.
Wow.
But that opened up so many other areas with getting to know you, other leaders, Pastor Jay, and so forth.
What did that do to you? What was going on in you? Your
Wow.
what was happening inside of you in a moment like that?
My goodness, I felt chosen. I felt seen. I felt at such a young age, more so that I had a gift and somebody was bringing it out of me.
Mhm.
Even though I didn't know the church very well. And I think it happened pretty soon, not after I joined
Yeah.
and going through new members and stuff like that. And I know we had conversations before, kind of like, what are the things that I've done? And because I was training people with that job, that's kind of how we started talking about
Mhm.
finances and things like that. But I felt seen in our area that I didn't even know that the church did so many things like this in front of in the community, had so many programs and stuff in the community.
Gotcha. Well, I definitely remember the day where Tracy and I were struggling to get this budget stuff down pat. And you walk in the office and you're like, oh, I can take care of that. That's easy. We looked at one another like, what? That's easy. We've been struggling. Talk about that.
I remember, so it's funny, your conversation, me one day at school, I was at school, and you were like, hey, Ginell, I got this 50K budget. Like, can you align this for me? Can you adjust this and make sure it works? And I was like, sure, I can get it back to you tomorrow. And you were like, no, I needed like an hour or 30 minutes, something like that. It was a cap. And so
Uh-huh.
I remember being like, oh, okay, this is no problem. Let me go ahead and move some of the numbers and stuff around. And I remember having conversations with Tracy in reference to how to make the money match and understanding revenue and expenses and just making sure the bottom line is the bottom line and there was zero, just all these things. And
Mhm.
so Tracy was like, I don't have time to do all that. And
Uh-huh.
we just worked out this relationship that I would come either once or twice a week, sit with her for a couple of hours, and we would go over the budget.
Wow. Wow.
That's how it started.
Well, we were thrilled when you came in. It's like weights off the shoulders. What Tracy didn't have the time, and I didn't have the patience, and you had the skill to be able to do it, and it was history. Oh my God, we had some times. Anything you want to share in your time frame or concerning the time frame with success dynamic? Because I remember one.
Man, gosh, one that stands out the most is I like to call myself the favorite child. Remember, I felt like I
Okay.
was one always got in trouble. But I remember this time where there was this budget that was it was a grant or something that was due. And I was in charge. You had different people in charge of different areas within the budget. And I always had to make sure the money was, right. And
Hmm.
but I remember by the time all of us was able to get our paperwork and stuff together, and it ended up being where we didn't turn the grant in on time. We missed the deadline.
Uh-huh.
And I
Oh yeah.
remember everybody being like, oh, it's okay. And you called a meeting and everybody's like, oh, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be another time. And I was like, oh no, he's gonna give it to us, y'all.
Don't let the
Don't let the
smile.
smile fool you. We in trouble.
My God, you had a keen eye for detecting something is not right with the coach. I mean, the coach is not happy. You could see it,
Yes,
but the rest could not.
yes,
And it was
yes.
like hunky dory. But I'll never forget the moment when you did, and I'm like, wait a minute, this the same person who was not going to let you get so close, and you went down into Roper, North Carolina. And when I came in one particular day, I'm like, what did you do to these people? Let's talk about that episode because I was blown out of the water. I was literally like, Ginell, what did you do to them? You talk about it. Please you talk about it.
Oh my gosh. So I remember we had this project where we was working with North Carolina Rural Center, and I think there was supposed to be some employer that was supposed to come in, train people to get jobs, and that employer didn't come in. And I remember we learned that early on in the grant world that once you get money, you never turn it back in. You
Never
make
turn back.
sure you do everything you need to do to make sure that deliverable was done, but you never turn back money. But anyway, I just remember talking to people in the community and being like, what is it that you want for your life? What can we do to help you evolve and find employment and things of that nature? It was a conversation essentially like we're having one now. I wanted them to see Success Dynamics as a company that was willing to help, not a company that was coming in to take from them. And even though we didn't know what was going on with the company, we had some issues with leadership in the
Oh yeah.
community as well.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
But even, and I think that was my first time being a program manager because I was so used to being on the budget side.
Hmm.
But because I worked very closely with the program manager over other grants and stuff, I was like, oh, I can do this. It's just essentially just talking to the community. But I wanted the community participants to see me as them. And so I would share my story, how I got connected to success in the church, how learning a piece of something we're not used to doing could aid in their growth and moving forward. I remember we had like 44 well, we had more than 44 participants. I think it was like 100 participants that
Uh-huh.
wanted their career ready certificate. Remember that? And we had to turn people away. But I end up making sure the budget worked where we were able to get about 44 participants,
Yeah.
all of them to graduate with their certificate, whether it was bronze, silver, or gold. And I just remember people wanting to give up and Some of them had challenges coming to some of the trainings. They would bring their kids, we would feed them. It was so much of an atmosphere that I just wanted people to kind of learn together so they could move forward. It was one of the best experiences I felt
Because
like I've ever
because I
had.
remember the former leadership was like, you're not going to get anything out of them. And
Yep.
I walk in one day, I'm like, wait a minute, what did you do? I asked you that, Ginell, what did
Yeah.
you do to these people? Because they were like willing to follow you anywhere you would recommend that they go. And it was just
Yes.
an astronomical job. And as we look back to see how you evolved in your people skills and
Hmm.
connecting with people, talk about how valuable and how important that is in the day and time that we're living in right now, that we engage people.
I think it's easy for me to understand it because I watched it with you and
Hmm.
Dr. J, and then different people within the leadership. Within Oasis and Success Dynamics, we were this close knit family. There was
Hmm.
nothing that we couldn't talk about. It wasn't nothing that we couldn't be open about, especially because of the end result, the mission that we were trying to accomplish. So
Gotcha.
when I think about those skills and who I am today, learning how to talk to people, not being so direct, trying to figure out that middle ground of
Gotcha.
compromise. I feel like it's important nowadays to be able to have that connection because we're supposed, I think, as community leaders, supposed to help our community. And if we don't know how to talk or relate to one another, then we're kind of like essentially going to be the person on the outside of the family. Nobody's really going to want to trust us.
Gotcha.
And we establish trust very early.
Wow. Well, you did an astronomical job. I'm telling you all, I had to shake my head and ask her on several occasions, Ginell, what did you do to these people? Because they didn't have that kind of drive when we
Yes.
started out with them. And then
Yes.
X amount of time later, they were graduating with their certificates. And you remember the graduation, wasn't that just a dynamic time?
Oh, it's so beautiful.
And that was
Yes.
that was nice. We had special guests, uh, community stakeholders that were there, and they were blown away.
Yes.
Yeah, they were blown away really at the job that you did as a project manager. You know,
Yes.
and so I'm like, wow, it was just astronomical. But we're talking about the evolution of Next, and you evolved. You evolved from success, and then you went talk about your next space.
Oh
Now,
my
something
goodness.
had to have been clicking in you because we're watching you in your evolution. And again, we're speaking to give hope and encouragement that wherever you are that are listening to this podcast, you can evolve.
Yes.
Your next is waiting on you. And we watched you. I think you went from success then to the city of Greenville and then
Yeah.
on to the state.
Yes.
Because
So I think what happened was me working with Oasis and Success allowed me to see that there was more to management in the accounting realm outside of just doing taxes. Because I
mm,
think at that time I was studying for my accounting degree and trying to figure out if I wanted to be a CPA or if I wanted to be a little bit more involved. And I think some of our funding with Success Dynamics has switched or cut or something like that.
yes.
And so
Mhm.
then I started working with a mental health organization as an account manager, the city of Greenville helping, and then working with the state of North Carolina under this community service block grant, where I was a fiscal manager and monitored the grant across North Carolina.
And
Still young,
yeah, and that was what, about $1 billion?
just about, I believe.
Uh,
Yes. Yes. I had to travel to monitor about 20 organizations across North
mhm.
Carolina and to talk to the executive leadership, program directors. I had to do training and technical assistance of how to manage funds, how to do their applications. But it goes back to, you said, me evolving. I think it was just because I saw there was something that I felt very strongly and compassionate about that I wanted to help. And I think working with Oasis and Success Dynamics, I could see it. And because I could see it, it was like, oh, there's more to this. How do I get into that? And I think too, I just latched on to you and others very, very closely because I watched how y'all navigated through conversations and talking to people. And there would be times that I would call you and be like, does this sound right? Is this right?
Yeah, I remember.
I supposed to do this because it was so new to me. But I was one of those people that if I could see it, then that
Mhm.
means I could do it. I just needed to see it. And then that means everything else kind of just fell in place. But I went with the ride because I saw the doors that opened and it was something that I love to do.
Well, it was amazing too, as we watched, you evolved into this person who wanted to have hands in the community. We
Yes.
saw that it's like, wow, look at the transformation. This person wants to help transform individuals, organizations, and communities. And it was amazing because I'm like, wait a minute. And you would hear me share it often, like, wait a minute, you're not the same Janelle that when we remembered you coming to the church, you were evolving, and it's like, wow, it was just picking up momentum, you
Yeah.
know. And then you ended up being the director over what, 140 some people?
Yes. End
What?
up running a nonprofit in Eastern North Carolina in Rocky Mount. We had, I think at that time, maybe $9 million, 3 or 4 different programs, Head Start, HUD. And it was my major role. To me, I call it my major executive role outside of working with the state because I had to have control over a program over a few communities. And I'm gonna tell you something. You're talking about evolution. That job, becoming an executive director, changed my life in so many different ways, personally and professionally. How to carry myself, how to talk to people, even understanding my gift of wanting to be hands-on. I'm not a leader that likes to sit behind a desk and not be hands-on. Like I learned that about me. And I think it's just because I learned it honestly with my family, with like I said, my church leadership, my friends. I can't be a leader if I'm not going to get my hands dirty. I
Wow.
wanted to be able to do those things. But there was a lot of lessons that I learned in being an exec at that
Mhm.
particular time that kind of helped shape me for who I am today.
Yeah, we were very proud when we saw that. I'm like, what, Janelle? Because we remember when. And here it is now. Janelle is over 143 employees. That blew us out of the water. I
Mm.
mean, the student had become the teacher because
Didn't feel like it.
I said, didn't feel like it, but it's
Mm-mm.
because and here's the key thing that our key theme tonight, you embraced next. Talk about how or why it is important to embrace it because it's coming at all of us next.
Yeah.
A next is waiting on all of us. Talk something about that because this is very important. Some of the
Not,
dynamics that go on, because like the dynamic of having to let go of the comfort zone.
ooh,
You,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Having to
Yeah.
become the new you
Yeah.
because you can't manage
Mhm.
143 people with the old you. Just
Right.
talk
Yeah.
around that a little bit.
So if I have to think of this whole evolution of when it started, again, remember I mentioned I was very much closed off,
Hmm.
didn't trust people very well. But I realized if Janelle would have stayed untrusting or very guarded, I wouldn't be able to see things that was within me come alive. Again, I knew that I wanted to handle money. I knew that I wanted to make an impact in people's lives. I just didn't know how.
Hmm.
But I now also understand like having conversations with mentors is like, okay, Janelle, you can't do that. Like, so people calling you out and trying to get you to see the areas within yourself that need to be adjusted or worked on personally or professionally, not coming in on time or just learn how you talk to people. If I didn't fix those things, I wouldn't have been able to see me managing millions of dollars, billions of dollars, making impact in community lives, even with other mentees that are coming to me asking me for help
Hmm.
because I could see what Janelle used to be if I would have stayed connected to her, I wouldn't have been able to see my next now.
Wow. Wow. So you saw yourself doing this thing.
I saw myself doing two things, managing money and impacting people, but I
Okay.
was not connected to the how. I
Oh,
just
okay.
knew I saw the vision. I just didn't know how. I
Gotcha.
just wanted to go whatever the breadcrumbs were laid out, whatever doors that were being opened. That's what I wanted to go after.
Ginell, talk about mentorship and how critical that is to our next.
Mentorship.
So,
Mentorships helps you to be aware of you and also learn other people.
mhm,
Um, Mentorship allows you to step out of your comfort zone to do things that you never thought you would. Mentorships allows you to see or even think bigger. Like you're not stuck in this little box. You're able to
mhm.
think bigger. You're able to be creative. Mentorships means that you're forever learning. You'll never stop learning. You'll always evolve. So having someone to help you walk that road of growth and evolution allows you to be connected to things again you would have never thought.
Wow. Wow. Well, you have modeled being a protege and turned into a mentor. Talk about Rogers Signature Consulting because you turned into the mentor to be able to mentor, teach, train others. Talk about what you do.
Sure. So Rogers Signature Consulting is my consulting firm where I train small businesses and entrepreneurs how to find funding for their businesses. A lot of times I talk to small business owners that have areas that they feel like they want to evolve into. So maybe offer different programs, maybe go and offer their program into a different community, but they're stuck trying to figure out how to grow their company, scale their company, or even find funding that's going to help them get the funding that they need to operate, but then also scale to go forward. So this consulting firm came about because I was tired of seeing nonprofits have money from state funders, federal funders, but not knowing how to manage it. And I got tired of seeing consultants that will come in, do the work to help clean up some of the issues that these nonprofits or small businesses had, but then you don't see them anymore. It was almost like you pay all this money, get everything done, and then you don't have any other conversations. And I wanted my consulting firm to be that family member, right? That mentor
Mhm.
that you can call and be like, hey, I got this corrective action, or I don't know how to fix it. How do I talk to this community leader? How do I become a community leader? How do I operate and find these funds? Like, I wanted that to be a regular conversation. And even in just opening my doors to focus on these individuals that need assistance, I've been able to work with big contracts like the Department of Energy to actually help them fix their operations and be able to move forward.
Well, one of the things that you did for us, you made us feel comfortable that Janelle was going to make sure that everything was right.
Yes.
And now this is one thing that I remember and got to give you the flowers for the day we had an audit from the state. Oh my God. I'm like, what has happened? And I got a call from one of our other team members. Were you expecting the state auditors? State auditors? What? Yeah, they're here at the church. I'm like, for what? But you all, I want to tell you, if you want somebody who can help, make sure your stuff is tight. Janelle is the person. She single-handedly handled the auditors all by herself.
Well,
I'm like,
I took that job very personal.
yeah, you
If
did.
you were, I took it very personal. If you were coming on my turf to talk finances or documentation, you remember I used to have issues with that because I was like, why do I see these things so intently? Like it has
Uh-huh.
to be in order. But at the same time, like I just remember like, oh, I got this. Our paperwork is in trouble. They don't intimidate me. Let's go.
Well, I was bothered. I was bothered, and I was bothered, and I was relieved when you're like, you can go home. I've got this. I'm like, what? And I'll never
Hmm.
forget a friend of mine. You know him. He said, if I
Hmm.
ever have to go to war, I want to call on Ginell to come and fight beside me. When I told him what was going on with the auditing, and you single-handedly handled the auditors, and it was a 2-day audit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 2-day audit. I'm like, I hope Ginell is faring okay because I was at home doing whatever. And everything came out just awesome. So that speaks to you all again. She knows what she's doing. If you need assistance in her or her consulting services, look, as that song would say, she comes, excuse me, highly recommended, you know, from what you did with the church and the nonprofit back in those days. What
Thank you.
is your next? What is your future look like? Because I know that from looking at your history past, you're not going to stay in one spot for long. You're going after another mountain, as we would say. What does the future look like?
Mhm. That's such a big question. It's funny when you didn't see the things that you're doing, it's hard to envision what your next is going to be. However, for Roger Signature Consulting or Janelle, like now I'm a YouTuber. So I'm trying to now come up with new ideas and lessons and things like that to teach not just business owners, but now youth, because we have a lot of our youth that want to go out and start businesses and
Mm,
not really sure how to be able to navigate that world. And that's something that I'm strategically praying about. What does that look like for me? I'm a mom, so
mhm,
having both of my young boys also step out into entrepreneurship because they've seen a lot of the things that I'm doing. They're having this unction to do the same. So if I have to think of a next for Janelle, is wanting to impact the youth now on a different level. I
mhm.
would love for my business to become a mentorship apprenticeship for youth, to be able to have hands-on experience with different areas within the administration for
Mhm.
jobs or just learning finances or anything, how to become a community leader, those kinds of things. So who knows? Who knows? But I know I definitely want to impact a little bit deeper.
That you're willing to go. You're willing to be.
Yep.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, you've
Yes.
you've developed so much momentum over the years in the becoming, to where it seems like you're, as we would say, you're up for the challenge. You
Yeah. I could say that.
and it's like,
Even growth, itself, that's a challenge, when
mhm,
you're aspiring to help other people, and it's hard to not look at your current situations and think that, you know where you are is where you're always going to stay. And
mm,
I remember just in what these 20 some years of us just relating, just having conversations with one another and encouraging each other and sharing scriptures and things that we learn, it helps to continue keeping that vision before us for us to be able to move forward.
yeah. Wow. You have really been, as the scripture would say, was it a roof to Naomi?
Mm.
Yeah, you have modeled, and it was shocking to us, like, Janelle, that person that used to be, but you have literally clung to my wife and I over the years, and we honor you and appreciate you for that. But it's just amazing. And I never forget, of course, you made the statement, you told us, don't go to Georgia and act like we don't know.
Absolutely.
I never forget that statement. She said, don't go to Georgia and act like you don't know who you are attached to, because
Hmm.
you would come to Georgia, but you
Hmm.
you modeled it, and so it's in you to be able to pour into the youth or who you've been assigned to pour into, and it makes it easy because you walked it. You know what
Yeah.
it looks like. You know,
Yeah.
talk about the utter importance again of that.
Of knowing what it looks like to mentor
Yes.
other people. Oh my. You can share experiences and lessons and even push people beyond themselves because you know what it feels like. You
Mhm.
know what it also means to be stuck and want to do
Mhm.
more, and you have nobody to help push you.
Mhm.
I'm grateful that I had a group of leaders and friends around that even when we got comfortable, we were like, no, there's still more in you. Or even though you don't know what the end result is going to be, go after it. Doors will open, things will happen. Continue to work on you because you don't want to get to that point where you're evolved or doing these things and there's character issues within yourself. So having those mentorships, those hard conversations, just being able to see blind spots or not being able to see blind spots
Mhm.
within how you're operating helps you to grow. I can even think, do you remember this time where I shared my evaluation with my mom one time?
Oh, yes. Yeah, you got to talk about that one, Janelle.
Thinking about mentorship. So I remember you're doing all of the team's evaluations, and I'm sitting here like, oh, I'm confident. Everything is fine. Ain't nothing
Uh-huh.
gonna be wrong. And I never forget, I think you gave me like a 4 or 3 because you were like, I wasn't coming in on time. No, what's funny, everybody, was because I was so confident of having this evaluation form that was gonna be great, I let my mom read it one
Ooh.
day. And I didn't even look at it. That's how bad I just knew I wasn't
Uh-huh.
gonna. I just knew. But anyway, my mom looked at it and she was like, "Ginell, you got good scores, but what you mean you're not coming to work on time?" And I was like, "That's in there."
And you were
And my
driving.
mom, I was driving, and I just gave my mom my evaluation to let her read it. And she got on me. She was like, "What do you mean not come? You're not coming to church or whatever on time? And what are you doing where you can't come to work?" Oh my God, it was a big deal. And I remember calling you like, "Dr. E, I can't believe you put that up there." And you were like, "I had to think of something for you to get better in. I couldn't give you a perfect score."
Oh, sure,
But
yeah.
I said that to say like it was important for me to even fix the little areas that I thought I was perfect in or areas that I thought that I was doing well in. That's where those blind sides come from. Having mentors that can be able to look at us and say, "Hey, come on down off that little high horse for a minute. Let's fix this area," because you never know where that's going to
Yeah.
come up later in life, right? Now, I can say honestly, I still struggle sometimes with having to
Gotcha.
be anywhere on time, but I make sure, especially if there's something that needs to be done, if I have to make a statement or be on in a specific meeting that's important, Ginell needs to be early or on time because of that moment. So evolving and coming out of this comfort zone and learning how to be able to evolve into a person that you see yourself. You just don't know how to get there. That's what mentorship is to me.
Wow. What do you say to your younger self
Mm,
concerning evolution? What do you say? What would you go back and say to that 25-year-old Janelle or that 30-year-old Janelle?
I'm proud of you for trying.
Oh, wow.
I'm proud of you for trying because sometimes we look at the big picture and just think we're not capable, or we think that we don't have all the tools to become the person that we see or would like to be. And it takes trying.
Mm.
And sometimes we don't, I think as youth, we don't give our youth enough affirmations to say, "I'm proud of you."
Oh, that's good.
And um, even just talking to my sons, "I'm proud of you. Even if you don't figure it out today or tomorrow or 3 years from now, just being in the moment and you working hard to continue to move forward and taking one day at a time and one step at a time. I'm proud of you, Ginell, for trying because your trying led you here.
Yeah.
And the more I try, even more, even though I'm not 25 anymore, I still tell myself, "Thank you for trying. Get up tomorrow and try. Do something you've never done and try because you'll be very, very surprised where it will lead to."
Yeah, that is great. That is great. Now I've got another question, maybe my last question, and I need to find out how this came about. And you all, this is uh, we we related pretty well over the years, but there's that one issue, and it's around football. How did you become a Philadelphia Eagles fan? What's up with that? Oh, oh,
We play today.
yeah, that's right. Your team plays today, So my God, it seems like you are, I mean, diehard Philadelphia Eagle fan. Talk about that just a little bit. You
I
got to.
am. I am. I grew up in a household of people that just love football. I'm originally from Maryland. My family was all about Cowboys and Indians, the Commanders, Redskins, whatever you want to call them. They'll always
Uh-huh.
be Cowboys and Indians to me. But I just wanted to be rebellious. That was my rebellious
Oh, so this
side to
goes way
say,
back.
this goes way back. I wanted to be rebellious.
Oh, okay, okay.
And so I was like, let me just latch on to another team that's doing well, but are hated. But
Okay.
but also too, they're the city of the brotherly love. So I love the camaraderie. So when I think about just people that I'm involved with, relationships, like that's what I look for is the camaraderie, the family, the pulling together. That's why I'm a Philadelphia Eagle.
Which team irks you the most?
I don't know if it's the team or the fans. I don't
Oh,
like any of the Cowboy fans. None.
oh my God. Any of them.
None. Redskins or Commanders are just about the same, but it's okay. Like I'm used to our division, but it's the fans. I don't think it's the team. It's really the fans.
It's the
And they
fan.
say the same thing about the Eagle fans. Yes.
Oh, okay. So it's the Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't like the Cowboys.
I think you may have shared this before that the Cowboy fans seem to be more arrogant.
They are very much more arrogant.
I
They
guess
say the Eagles are too.
because they say they brag off the fact we are America's team.
Y'all are not.
America's team. I got a gentleman who played for the Cowboys, and he'll get on, and at least I got some support from him on our Magnifying Manhood podcast, and he'll say, "Yeah, America's team." He played for the Cowboys, of course. Is there anything that you want to give us in closing to motivate? You shared a lot. Um, Anything you want to say to the audience concerning
Yeah,
the evolution of Next, as if you were giving a presidential speech?
sure. Not about a presidential speech, but your next up needs from you awareness of where you are, what do you need, and where you want to go. You need to be aware. You need to have a vision. Number two, be comfortable to know that your vision doesn't look like everybody else's.
Mm,
Not everybody
wow.
else is going to be able to see your vision. Your vision is your vision. Trust it and go with it. And maybe three, believe anything is possible.
Mm,
If
wow.
you know the vision, you have the tools, you got to have the belief. Now, we won't get spiritual, but you trusting in the one that gave you the vision is the one that's going to help it come to fruition. And so, no matter what it looks like, no matter what's going on, trust it, sow into it, work toward on it, give yourself entirely to it, believe in it, and don't be afraid to step out on it.
Wow, those are very critical points. Number two really jumped. All of them were dynamic, but number two, what was that number two again? 'Cause
Was
I,
it the tools,
uh,
the support? I
oh,
said it so
don't
quickly.
expect your vision to be like
Oh,
someone else's vision, because
yes.
that will free the average person up. It's okay to simply be you, to do what you dream about in order to evolve into your next. It's hard to evolve into your next trying to please other people's perceptions of your vision. So you have to go after it with all your heart. No, this is what I see.
And you know how I came to that conclusion? They make me comfortable with my gift. Is I was praying about this one day And I believe the Holy Spirit dropped on my heart and was like, how many grocery stores do you see in the world? How many car dealerships do you see in the world? All of them sell cars or some type of goods. They all have a different purpose. They all are uniquely designed for a specific person, yet they all sell cars to people. So your gift and your talent are going to draw those people that are connected to you by you stepping out and being you. And
Wow.
that freed me.
Wow. Yeah, that's where really true freedom comes in. Because you now you're able to weed out all those other voices in your head and so forth. I think you needed this and I think you needed that. That's freedom. That's
But I
free.
believe there's also wisdom in counsel too,
Yeah.
right? That have a
Mhm.
core people that you can talk and, evaluate some of the things that you want
Yeah.
to
Oh,
do.
sure.
But asking for people to confirm the vision that you see, no, that vision is in you and you want to be able to become everything you want to become. So step out.
Yeah, it's not fair to the eagle to try to be made to think like the lion. No,
Mm-hmm.
this is why we need the company of eagles to help us be eagle and so forth and so on. I want you to give us in our final moment, give us two driving scriptures that you just kind of work with, two scriptures that move Ginell.
Let me see. I'm gonna read it because I don't want to get it right. I want to get it right, should I say. Proverbs 16:3. Commit your works to the Lord and your thoughts will be established. I believe everybody has a gift, a talent. There's something specifically that God put on their heart to do. You got to go to the maker in order to understand the how. Remember, I told you I didn't know the how, but I knew the things that I wanted to do. So
Hmm.
that's the one of the scriptures that I'm standing on right now. And then the second one I'm pulling up is First Timothy 4:12, and it's 12 through 16. I won't read all of it, but specific parts. Let no one despise your youth, but be an example to the believers in word, in conduct, in love and spirit, in faith and purity. And then going down to verse 14, do not neglect the gift that is in you, which was given to you by prophecy with the laying on of the hands of the eldership. Meditate on these things, give yourself entirely to them, that your progress may be evident to all. Take heed to yourself and to the doctrine. Continue in them, for in doing this, you will save both yourself and those who hear you. And so I believe both of those scriptures speak exactly to the vision of where I believe God has taken me and the people that I am to impact while I'm still on this earth. And every day I'm alive, I want to touch one person.
Wow. Wow. Well, Janelle, we're very proud of you evolving over the years as we've had the opportunity to watch you evolve from one next to the next. And it's just been a thrill. So we congratulate you. We celebrate you. We're in your corner. And tell the people how they can get in contact with Rogers Signature Consulting Services.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you to Dr. Ellison. I would not be who I am today without all of the growth and all of the things to help me evolve. So thank you.
Sure.
And everybody can reach me on LinkedIn at Roger Signature Consultant Ginell, Roger Signature Consultant on LinkedIn. I'm also on YouTube as well. And you can send me an email on my website, which is the same thing, Roger Signature Consulting.
Well, Janelle, it has been a pleasure interviewing you tonight. And I know you're ready to go and get into that ball game and root your team on. You don't allow calls from Cowboy fans.
Nope.
Oh, okay, good.
No,
No good.
no, it's fine.
But again, thank you. You all, I've been interviewing the Kobe Bryant of our
Oh my
yesterday,
gosh.
Ginell Rogers, who we figured she can make anything happen. As a matter of fact, I used to, you know how I would drive 75 in a 15 and then bring you something to fix that I messed up. I'm like, well, Ginell can fix it. I had just that much confidence in you. So I've been interviewing tonight Ginell Rogers, you all of Rogers Signature Consulting Services. Reach out to her. I'm telling you, she will help you feel comfortable in your organization, you evolving and being able to take on more. That's what she did for us. So thank you all for liking, sharing, and subscribing to the Next Up podcast. And we look forward to seeing you next time on Next Up. God bless.